Michael Palin will always be remembered for his great performances with Monty Python. He's also made a splash on his own in films like A Fish Called Wanda. And he is out now with his very first novel, which is called Hemingway's Chair. It's a pleasure to welcome Michael Palin back to CBS, and thanks for coming on here on Friday night. I want to get to Hemingway's Chair here in a second, but I was reading this afternoon that recently you received some sort of a TV award over in London presented to you by Margaret Thatcher, and this must have been a great honor for you to have the former Prime Minister, give you the award.
What can I say? I mean, highlight of my life. Well, certainly highlight of that morning. Well, before 11:30. No, I just funnily enough, I come back from Aspen, where we've been doing a Python reunion. And
as part of the comedy festival there in March, I recall.
Comedy festival in March. And that very morning I arrived and they said, you have to go to this award ceremony because we think you might have won an award. And the awards were known as Trick Awards, which I wasn't quite sure whether you're going to get some rubber thing that goes woo when you pick it up. But the trick meant the television and radio industries consortium or something. So I went to this place and I was slightly jet lagged, and it was like 1,000 people squeezed in, and we won the award for best documentary. And they said, I didn't know who was going to present it, and they suddenly said, to present the award, Baroness Thatcher.
Oh, wow.
So Baroness Thatcher gets up, and we all tug our forelocks and fall to the floor. And she said, the nominations are, and she read the nomination, and the third nomination was Full Circle with Michael Palin.
Michael Palin.
And so there's a lot of laughing around. People who know my name is actually pronounced Palin. And then it was compounded by the fact that I actually won. So, and the winner is Full Circle with Michael Palin. So
and I had to applause.
Applause. So I went my way through the tables, like you do at these things. And I thought I would just tell, you're supposed to tell a little story. So I thought I'd tell a story about how difficult it was filming in the Amazon basin and all that sort of thing. And there was one particular story which involves going to a village, and the old ladies of the village make this very strong drink on a certain day, which they hand to their visitors. And they told me that it's fermented with the sugar that grows around the villages. And in areas where there is no sugar growing, it's fermented by the saliva from the old ladies.
Oh, really?
Spit in it and stir it up. Anyway, I was telling the story, just started, and as soon as I started saying, drink, old lady, Margaret Thatcher seemed to assume that I was talking about her. And this was a bit of a dig at her. So she looked at me and said, steady. And she's standing very close to me, and I'm at the microphone. And I realized I've got a lot of this story to tell, and she thinks it's about her. And I can't not tell the story without referring to old ladies continuously. So every time I kept saying, and the old lady stood there grinning at me. She said, steady. And the end of the story, of course, is that I say to my guide, is there a lot of sugar grown around here? And he taught them and said, no.
Time to pass.
So I made a joke about, when you go and have a cocktail in the Amazon, tell them to hold the spit. But by that time, she was just staring at me, and she was staring at me for such a long time that I thought I have to acknowledge this to the audience.
Eventually, did you have a rapprochement with her? I mean,
I said to the audience, I can see why she's been in power for 10 years. That was a big laugh. I said, it's the eyes, And afterwards, she said Michael Palin was an extremely nice man, and very happy to meet him. And we had our photos taken. I put my arm around Margaret Thatcher, which I thought would annoy John Cleese.
I wonder if she ever played 20 Questions at the panel. It's an old joke. It's a very, very old joke. Now, the reunion at Aspen in March. How was that fun for everybody? For the living members of Monty Python?
The living members, yes. It was more fun for the dead members.
Really?
Graham Chapman had a great time because he was the star of the show, because we thought that we had to acknowledge the fact that Graham was still in our thoughts and minds.
Oh, sure. He passed away some years ago, right?
Yeah. He's much less trouble to work with now. But so when Robert Klein said, and Graham, of course, isn't with you, we said, oh, yes, he is. We have him here. And we got a butler to bring on Graham's ashes on an urn.
You got to be kidding.
On a cushion.
They were really his ashes?
No. Okay. No, I don't. There were somebody's, but they weren't Graham. But they were very good prop ashes. They looked just like the real thing, I suppose. And it was put down, and he had a little chair of his own. And we planned that at some time during the evening, Terry Gilliam would ensure that the urn got knocked over. And Terry did it. It was wonderful. He let it go for quite a long time. We'd all forgotten we'd planned this. And suddenly, John's launching into some long, boring story, and Terry Gilliam suddenly crosses his legs, and wham!
Oh, the urn goes.
The urn goes over, and all falls down, and it took us all by surprise, and the audience just roared with laughter, which was a relief. And so we had to try and get Graham back into the urn, and he used a dustpan, and Eric put some of him under the carpet and all that. It was, I think, it was a sick joke that Graham would greatly have appreciated.
I'm sure he would.
Yeah.
I'm sure
so he was the star. All we had to do was sit in chairs like those old men.
How many people still recognize you? You know, when you make the documentaries, or you're on the
4.
street.
No, sorry.
That many. See, I didn't think it'd be nearly that many.
4, and 2 of them
really,
are my family.
I'm astounded by the multiplicity of it all. Yeah. No, just from Monty Python, which hasn't been in production now for some years, but I'm sure many people still know you from that.
Python gets played regularly. I mean, it's just gone on television for another year here on PBS. And, the most remarkable places, we were starting the full circle journey in this tiny island in the Bering Strait. It's 180 Eskimos live on this bleak, treeless rock.
It's in the Aleutians, huh? In the Aleutians?
No, it's north of the Aleutians.
North
it's between, between Russia and America, that 50-mile stretch
Alaska,
of water. Yeah. And
I always thought the Aleutians were up there.
Well, they're further down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's the bottom end of Alaska, I think. Anyway, we spent the day with them, and they were very, very friendly to us. Let us film, and they were sort of gutting whales, and they said they'd take us off the island on a whaleskin boat, and very, very, very friendly. And as we were about to leave on the whaleskin boat, a little party of Eskimos came down, and I thought it was going to be a sort of farewell deputation. They looked at me for a bit, and as I got in the boat, one of them said, "Hey, aren't you the guy from Monty Python and the Holy Grail?" And they'd just seen it the night before on satellite, so, even up there.
Yeah. Yeah. So
said, "No, please don't say that. Don't say that, please. I'm supposed to be it's supposed to be miles away from anywhere."
Yeah, imagine one of the 4 living way up there. It's incredible. We will continue here with Michael Palin, whose new book is called Hemingway's Chair. We'll explore that subject and get to you on the toll-free right after this short timeout.
Your toothbrush has limitations. It can clean the surfaces of your teeth, but it may not penetrate the spaces between them where germs breed. Listerine can. Listerine is the one brand, the only brand, clinically proven to flow into the tiny spaces between teeth, to kill germs and help prevent the gum disease gingivitis. Liquidate germs your toothbrush may miss with Listerine. Don't let a good mouth go bad.
There are a lot of things that make a Chevy Cavalier a smart buy. Things like the most comprehensive standard safety package in its class. Smart. And the fact that AAA named Cavalier a top car. Very smart. But what makes it an even smarter buy is that you can get great GMAC financing. And when you can get all that on the lowest priced car to offer anti-lock brakes standard, missing this opportunity would be, well, Cavalier from Chevrolet.
Oh, what a feeling to win the World Series. USC battles the 2-time defending national champions, LSU. The first round of the College World Series, Saturday on CBS.
A desperate act.
I'm gonna do it.
Do what?
Sue God.
An unforgettable courtroom drama. Robert Guillaume on Touched by an Angel. Then, Hallmark Hall of Fame presents Matthew Modine, Tom Skerritt, and James Earl Jones in a surprising comedy, What the Deaf Man Heard. CBS Sunday.
Are you looking for a new or better job? The CBS 2 Job Connection is ready to connect you to great companies in the tri-state area. Job Connection's electronic classified service instantly connects you to great jobs. And you can access it 24 hours a day from your touch-tone phone. Get connected today with CBS 2's Job Connection. Live phone 212-698-0002 or on the web at cbs2ny.com. Get connected today.
Arthritis, backache, sore muscles. Give pain the 1-2 punch with Icy Hot. It goes on icy to dull the pain, then gets hot to relax it away. Right back. Give your pain the 1-2 punch and knock out pain with Icy Hot.
Hot flashes, tension, mood swings, menopause. If these words sound familiar, remember the word Rejuvex. Rejuvex contains a carefully balanced combination of nutrients and herbal ingredients especially formulated for women during and after menopause. Rejuvex, a daily regimen that really works.
Hi. Not much of a breakfast there.
No.
Would you ever think about having breakfast for lunch or breakfast for dinner?
Man, are you crazy? No, lunch is lunch.
Did you know that IHOP serves breakfast all day long?
All day long?
Yeah, you can get all your favorites with IHOP's hearty breakfast samplers, like the new Lumberjack with biscuits and country gravy, eggs, meat, hash browns, and a stack of our famous buttermilk pancakes.
I never had it, but it sounds good. Could be.
You mentioned those are still running on PBS. They're as good today as the day you made them. But does it bother you and the other cast members that it's still on, or is it a compliment to you?
Oh, I'm flattered, and it helps our retirement fund, and we get a little bit of royalties from
good
it.
for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's nice to be remembered, you know.
Now,
especially for things like that.
Let me ask you here about Hemingway's chair and the inspiration for this book. As I read in the flap, as they say, the cover flap, the central character here loves Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah. I mean, this is his own private obsession. I mean, he himself is a man of little ambition, an assistant postmaster whose big ambition in life is to be head postmaster of a tiny village. That's all. But he has this room at home where his mother lives in upstairs room, which is dedicated entirely to Hemingwayana, and he lives through Hemingway and he talks to Hemingway, and so there's a very sort of slightly odd side to this guy that not many people know about. By the end of the story, everyone knows.
Having, through the years, heard stories and read stories about Mr. Hemingway, he too had several idiosyncrasies, to put it mildly.
Yes. I mean, Hemingway was a guy who was always sort of reinventing himself and making up stories, which proved to be complete fibs later. I mean, he claimed to have slept with Mata Hari, the famous spy, in 1917 when he first went to Europe. And everyone thought, well, go on, you're a real girl. And they found out Mata Hari died in 1915. So,
well, what that doesn't mean it wasn't possible.
It doesn't preclude it. Let's be broad-minded. He could be a anyway, whatever. Thank you. Yes.
Necrophiliac.
So there's that. And he also had sort of odd little habits. I mean, he loved cats. I think Avia had 56 cats, all of whose names he knew. And
I'm told, I remember reading somewhere, hearing that he always stood up writing. He had a tall desk, and he would write standing up.
Yeah, that's right. He did. Which is actually quite a good way to write. I've tried that myself. It's actually much better. You don't hunch over. And I think it came from the fact that he had a very bad back. He was accident prone, Hemingway, very ill most of the time, and all sorts of strange things happened to him. There's one wonderful picture of him in Paris in 1925 with a great bandage around his head. And he's dressed as vaguely in an army uniform, and some women are sort of looking at him adoringly. And it looks like, back home from the war, this wounded hero. In fact, a skylight fell on his head, earlier that morning, and that's what the bandage is about. And he had car crashes on a fairly regular basis. And he's the only man I know to have had 2 air crashes in one flight. He was flying over Uganda, and the plane crashed, and then he sort of staggered out of the wreckage. So, okay, we've got to get on. And so they hired another plane, came in, that crashed about sort of 40 feet further on.
Wasn't his day, was it? No,
it wasn't his day. But he got a refund, and the air miles were still secure.
Now, when you and the other people who became members of Monty Python went to the BBC to pitch this show before it ever went on the air, what was your pitch?
Well, we told them what we knew about the show. They said, can you tell us what this show is? So we said, well, what do you want to know? Well, what's the title? Well, because we didn't have a title then. We said, well, we're not sure about that. Well, does it have a musical element? We're not sure. Don't think so. And will there be sort of star guests, anything like that? Star guests. I don't know about that. Anyway, it was the world's worst job interview. And this guy who's the head of light entertainment at the BBC stood up and said, all right, I'll give you 13 shows, but that's all. Now, those were the good old days.
Doesn't work that way anymore, I'll tell you.
No, absolutely.
No.
We'd be kicked out, wouldn't be allowed in. But
And how did the name Monty Python come to be? Where did that come from?
Well, we wanted the program the title not to mean anything, not to give anything away. We were rather happy with a title like It's. We just wanted it to be called It's. And the BBC said that's ridiculous. It's got to have a proper title. And we think the idea of flying circus is a good, flying circus, you know. And we thought, why? But they said, no, this is. So we said, all right, we'll keep the flying circus if we can invent a name to go with it. And so we looked out for names. And there's actually one rather good name I found in a magazine that I found at my mother-in-law's, which is kind of local women's groups, a report on all the various things that are going on, people making raffia baskets and people playing the piano and all that. Anyway, it said, Gwen Dibley entertained with folk songs. And I love the name Gwen Dibley. I thought Gwen Dibley's Flying Circus would be rather good. I also liked the idea of giving someone a show without them knowing about it. So Gwen Dibley would suddenly wake up one morning and find she had a series. And, Mom, we got a series. But John quite rightly said she could sue us for all we've got. So in the end, we sat around and had to beat out a name. And someone suggested Python, and someone came up with the name to go with it, Monty Python. It sounded like some terribly smooth, sharp sort of, agent somewhere.
But very hip, you know? Hip.
Is it? Yeah.
Monty Python is hip.
Well, anyway, we went to the BBC and they said, Monty Python's Flying, what does that mean? You know, well, you can have it if you want, but everyone's going to know the show is Flying Circus in the future. And how wrong they were, as we say.
One of the great titles of all time. I remember as a young broadcaster, I did a show in Philadelphia called The Wave Machine. That's what the guy the producer wanted to call it, The Wave Machine. And I said, why would you give it that name? He says, because this show is going to make waves. Well, after the first show, there was a slight gurgle in South Philadelphia, and it disappeared from the airwaves after a little performance.
It's a wave goodbye show.
You use the word it, or it's, you're gonna call it it?
It's, yeah.
I remember a guy once pitched me a show that was going to be called It. And that was the title of the show, It.
Nita.
Yeah. And I said, I don't think that'll work. And he said, why? I said, because if it's no good, the review is going to be very short.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah.
Let me pause here for the viewers. The affiliates and the sponsors. The affiliates, by the way, will be at the CBS photo sale first thing tomorrow. Your chance to meet a CBS affiliate owner. Michael Palin is the guest. Hemingway's Chair is his first novel, which is doing smashingly well. We'll be right back with you on the toll-free, as I said the last time, but I mean it this time, after these messages.
Baby, let me be your loving teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and lead me anywhere. Oh, let me be. Oh, let him go. Oh, a teddy bear.
Celebrate the century's greatest creations. Collect your very own teddy bear stamp, part of this special edition stamp series. Available now at your local post office.
I just want to be your teddy bear.
Intrigue by Oldsmobile. Drive the intrigue. See the movie.
No two women are shaped exactly alike. That's why a woman gynecologist designed the first tampon with individually wound layers that expand to fit each woman's individual shape. A tampon that was different from all the rest to give you truly personalized protection. The OB tampon, also available with an applicator. OB, protection fit for you.
Here, lizard, lizard. Here, lizard, lizard, lizard.
Godzilla's hiding, and it's up to you to find him. Just buy a gordita or a medium or larger drink. If you find Godzilla, use your secret decoder to reveal what you've won out of millions of prizes. You could win $1 million.
I think I need a bigger box.
On America's Night of Television, to save her husband's life.
Oh, Sully, please breathe.
How far will a doctor have to go?
Is he going to keep his leg?
A powerful Dr. Quinn. Then, how do you save a man who doesn't want to be saved?
You don't want to do this. You stay out of my life.
Lou Gossett Jr. in early edition. And only one man can stop a doctor whose illegal experiments are killing elderly patients.
Guess who?
Chuck Norris is Walker for America's Night of Television. The address is CBS, Saturday.
Come along.
Mailman, it's been a long time.
Whoa! Mailman! You grew hair!
That's right. Couldn't have done it without my Rogaine.
The new Rogaine Extra Strength for Men. It's concentrated. It gets more to the root to grow 45% more hair than the original.
Nice rebound.
Carl, sign my Rogaine. The new Rogaine. 45% more hair.
It delivers for me.
You got the limb tied off, Ed. Good. Quick! Yell timber!
Uh-oh. Better get Mako.
Don't get squirrely over repair costs. For a free estimate on body repair and Ambassador Paint Service for $189.95, just say, uh-oh, better get Mako.
Original, different, entertaining. News 2 brings you New Yorkers in the know with special reports you won't see anywhere else every night on News 2 at 11.
It's time for another happy heroin hint. You'll never have a high as good as your first. But feel free to die trying. Heroin. Dying's the easy part.
Your home of the Jets and the NFL, CBS 2.
With Michael Palin, who is the author of his first novel called Hemingway's Chair, here is Walt on the toll-free in Linden, New Jersey. Hi, Walt, and welcome to CBS. Hello.
Tom, how are you?
Walt, I'm just fine. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging in there.
Well, me too, kid.
Enjoying your color TV.
Oh, very good, sir. Very good. Take it easy now, Walt, you know.
Okay. My question for Mike.
Sure.
Mike,
Yes,
is when you did the live stage shows for Monty Python, is there any one, either like most embarrassing or something experience that ever happened that you can really recall and tell us about that really got you in trouble somehow? Or got the troupe in trouble? That was all improv, I guess it was, wasn't it?
Walt, we got it, buddy, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. 5 by 5, Walt. Here's the answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you caught me on the hop, but I do remember on the last day of our...
He caught you on...
The hop. That's an English word. It
Meaning?
means, on one leg. So
okay.
I wasn't prepared for
Gotcha.
that one.
Okay. On the hop.
So, on the hop. Do you not have that?
We don't do that here.
At the hop, you have Danny.
You caught me on the spot, or you put me on the spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Walt, are you still there? You've gone to sleep.
Oh, Walt is still there.
Yeah,
no.
that's fine.
Walt's the
I'm going to try and give you some sort of answer.
Yeah, but believe me, Michael, Walt doesn't sleep this time of the night.
Okay.
Walt's just
Only
getting
on Friday nights.
Right.
I know
Walt is just getting underway.
Well, Walt, you will appreciate this because on the last show, I woke up in the morning. The last day of our shows in New York. I woke up in the morning, 2 shows still to go, and I'd lost my voice. Actor's total nightmare. Could barely speak. And so during that day, they got various doctors along to the theater to come and have a look at my throat. And a lot of them wouldn't look into my mouth until I paid them $40 or whatever it was. And Graham Chapman, who is a doctor, wanted to help out. And in the first sketch of the show, Graham played a Mexican lady. So this man dressed in an enormous pink Mexican outfit with, wig on, scarlet lipstick, and a pipe, looking in my mouth. And the doctor sort of looked at Graham and said, "Excuse me, could you mind going away?" Graham said, "I am a doctor, you know." Anyway, the 2 doctors, Graham in his dress and the other doctor, finally abandoned all hope. And the only way I managed to actually get away with it was a friend called Neil Innes gave me a quarter bottle of scotch, so I just drank that. And he said, whether you lose your voice or not, you won't care. And I had to do one very long speech fairly early on, and I got through it, just croaked my way through, finally got to the end, and John, to whom I was delivering it, stopped for a minute and said, "Sorry, didn't quite catch that." Tall bastard. Yeah. This is what happens when you're 5 inches smaller than people like that. Anyway, is that enough, Walt?
That sounds good to me.
Good.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. You can go back to
Walt,
sleep
have a
now.
great time, buddy, but take it easy now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for watching. Thanks for calling, sir.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Not quite yet, Walt. Just good night to you, sir, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Good night, Walt.
Bye-bye.
They start early back there, don't they? Huh? What about when you were on Broadway or in New York doing the shows, publicity and promotion and that sort of thing, photographs? Did you have to do much of that sort of work? With the horses near Central Park.
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, we had to do some photos with the horses near Central Park.
Yeah.
You're kind of psychic.
Yeah,
This
well,
is quite extraordinary. 'Cause
I want to get you off the hop as fast as I can.
Thank you, off the hop.
Yeah. I know how it is on the hop, believe me.
It wasn't publicity. We happened to be standing in Central Park near where the
horses are.
The horses and the little
handsome
carts go
cabs.
by. Yeah. And we were doing a shot. And Terry Jones had just bought a new coat, and it was the 70s, so people bought these very shaggy coats.
Oh, yeah.
And Terry's coat was wonderful, sort of furry, and looked glorious. And halfway through the photograph, this horse from behind him suddenly went and took a chunk out of Terry's shoulder. I don't know whether he was going to mate with it or thought it was a rival or something like that, but half Terry's sleeve hung off.
Yeah.
And Terry said, he gets very indignant. Hi, Pete, that's my new coat. Hey, he says to the man the man who's driving the
driver,
car, that's my coat. He's got my coat in his mouth. And of course, everyone round about was sort of falling about with laughter. It was
It's very, very funny.
But those great moments. Terry was very
But tell us
indignant.
how the horse went again when he bit him. How'd he go?
Sort of. Not quite like llamas. Llamas go, wink. Spit at you. Sorry, it's
That's okay.
all over your suit.
No, I didn't get any on me.
I won't do it again.
No, I didn't get any on me. Don't worry about it.
Went right past. And
Yeah, what about
onto your
camels?
set.
What do they do?
They ride straight on into town. No,
That's a little inside because we shared a story during the break that I can't share with you tonight. God knows I'd like to, but tonight is not the night. I don't want my picture on sale out there tomorrow, okay? Now, you live in London or just outside?
Well, I like to think it's in London. I'm only about sort of 50 minutes drive from the centre on a good day. 2 hours in rush hour.
And like, do your fans or do people know where you live?
Yeah, I mean,
like here they have the Star.
I've lived in the same neighbourhood for 30 years, so most people know. But young children who recently moved into the neighbourhood come by and they're told Michael Palin lives there, and they don't know who I am, but they come by and they ring the doorbell and I go down, and they say, "Is Michael Palin here?" And I say, "No, he's away." And they say, "When's he coming back?" I said, "Oh, maybe a year, 2 years." All right, and off they go.
And
They have no idea who I am.
That satisfies them, right?
Yeah. But then, I mean, I am away an awful lot. In fact, my eldest son, Tom, my family is so used to it now that when I started on Full Circle, it was going to be 10 months filming. Apparently, a week after I'd gone, my eldest son, Tom, appeared in the kitchen, said, "Where's Dad?" And so he said, "Oh, he's gone round the Pacific." Oh. I said, "When's he coming back?" About 8 months.
So when you go out to make these documentaries, you're gone for a considerable amount of time. Like Full Circle, how many miles did you travel to complete that?
50,000 miles.
All
Yeah.
right. And you enjoy that greatly, don't you?
I think I do, yes. I enjoy coming home. I'm not a kind of escapist traveler. I don't always want to get away, but I'm curious. I do want to see what Siberia looks like and what Burma looks like and what parts of
Out of all the
northern Los
places you've
Angeles
been,
look
what was
like.
the biggest surprise? What surprised you the most?
Actually, was Siberia. The place called Kamchatka is just an incredible place of such beauty. I mean, it makes Yellowstone look like a sort of small Disney exhibit.
Steady.
It's about 20.
Steady.
Sorry. Okay. No, it makes Yellowstone look as beautiful and as wonderful as it is, and it is great. But no, the fact was that there's this area was 25 volcanoes, active volcanoes, some of them, amazing thermal hot springs and all that, and nobody there at all. I mean, it's just you wonder where are all the visitors.
Kamchatka.
No one can get there, but it was just a stunning surprise.
And the name is Kamchatka.
Kamchatka.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And you can get there now. Alaskan Airlines do a flight to Petropavlovsk, which is nearby, and if you're interested in salmon fishing, apparently no one's fished those waters for hundreds of years, and the salmon are just desperate for someone to get them out. Cull them a bit.
Catch them and eat them, right? Smoke them, right? It's a joy to be in your company as always, Mr. Palin. I thank you for coming in tonight.
Thank you.
Be well, and I hope that this is a smashing success. Mr. Palin's newest book is called Hemingway's Chair by my guest, Michael Palin. Next, Brad Meltzer, who also has a forthcoming bestseller on the charts, as we continue after this short break.
What's so hot about Hot Pockets?
Crispy, crusty, tender, flaky crust.
Hot Pockets has an oven-baked taste right from the microwave, so your favorite Hot Pockets fillings are inside a...
Crispy, crusty, tender, flaky crust.
Every time.
What are you gonna pick?
Crispy, crusty, tender, flaky crust.